It may come as a shock, but regularly snacking on the wrong types of nuts can increase your risk of cardiovascular disease by as much as 48%, a particularly alarming figure for older adults. But when you think about it, it starts to make sense. This statistic isn't pulled out of thin air, it's grounded in years of research and published in the prestigious Journal of the American College of Cardiology. Still, the unsettling truth remains: several everyday nuts, the kind you probably have sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now, can quietly sabotage your health. How? Some of these nuts can gradually raise your blood pressure, trigger inflammation, clog your arteries, and even worsen cognitive decline. And yet, many seniors continue to eat them, convinced they're making healthy choices. One nut in particular, which we'll reveal later, has been shown to elevate levels of a certain chemical. If consumed often, this chemical could silently damage your kidneys, liver, and brain. Here's the twist: this same nut is commonly praised in low-carb diets as a healthy snack. In fact, it's probably already in your pantry, nestled innocently in a jar of mixed nuts. But for aging bodies, it could be doing more harm than good, perhaps even permanent harm. Don't worry though, we've got your back. This video is your ultimate guide to eating nuts the smart way. You'll learn which ones truly support heart, brain, and bone health and which should be tossed from your diet for good. Make sure you stick around until the very end, because we'll also uncover a dark secret about the most dangerous nut of all, one that's rarely talked about but may be quietly damaging your body. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can keep bringing you content like this. And let us know in the comments where in the world are you watching from today. Now, without further ado, let's start with number 4, the bone-strengthening powerhouse almonds. Rich in calcium and vitamin E, almonds are one of the best foods for aging bodies. These nutrients work together to support strong, healthy bones. As we grow older, our bones naturally become more porous and fragile, especially after age 65 when bone loss speeds up. But here's the good news: just a 1/4 cup of almonds a day delivers about 97 milligrams of calcium, which can help slow this process. Almonds also provide magnesium, another essential nutrient that many older adults don't get enough of. What makes magnesium so vital is its role as a calcium transporter. It helps direct calcium away from your arteries where it can cause blockages and sends it to your bones where it's truly needed. Plus, almonds are packed with heart-friendly monounsaturated fats that help lower bad LDL cholesterol. Add to that a solid 3.5 grams of fiber per serving, and you've got one of the most well-rounded nuts for senior health. I recommend eating 15 to 20 almonds a day, raw or dry roasted, and without salt for maximum benefit. Almonds are also a powerful ally in the fight against constipation, a condition that affects nearly 40% of the older population. Thanks to their high fiber content and natural oils, almonds help keep the digestive system moving, a relief for many seniors struggling with sluggish digestion. But there's more. According to compelling research from Tufts University, almonds can also help protect your brain. How? They shield brain cells from oxidative damage, the kind that many of us worry about as we grow older. Think of it as rust-proofing your brain cells from within. To maximize these benefits, go for almonds with their skins still on. The skins are packed with flavonoids, and when these compounds combine with vitamin E inside the nut, they double the antioxidant power. It's a dynamic duo your brain will thank you for. Just one word of caution: if you have trouble swallowing or suffer from dry mouth, take the time to chew almonds thoroughly. Their firm texture can pose a choking hazard, particularly for seniors with swallowing difficulties. Now let's move on to the third nut, one that doesn't just feed your body, it feeds your mind: walnuts. It's hard not to notice the uncanny resemblance between a walnut and the human brain, and it turns out that similarity runs deeper than appearances. Walnuts are considered one of the best brain foods for seniors, and not just because of their looks. Compared to other popular nuts, walnuts are the richest source of alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Why does that matter? Omega-3s are essential for maintaining brain cell membranes and supporting neurotransmission, the vital communication between brain cells. In fact, a recent study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that seniors who ate just 1.5 ounces of walnuts daily for 8 weeks experienced noticeable improvements in cognitive speed and mental flexibility. That's a big deal for aging minds. But walnuts don't stop there. They also contain unique polyphenolic compounds that can reduce inflammation in the brain and even cross the blood-brain barrier, an essential step in protecting against neurodegenerative diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's. And here's something many people don't know. Walnuts naturally contain melatonin, the sleep hormone. As we age, our natural melatonin levels decline, which often leads to sleep issues. For some seniors, eating a handful of walnuts before bed leads to deeper, more restful sleep. On top of all that, walnuts offer significant cardiovascular benefits. They're rich in arginine, an amino acid that promotes healthy blood vessels, and polyphenols that reduce oxidative stress. By helping to maintain arterial flexibility, walnuts may even enhance the effects of blood pressure medications in older adults. So, how many should you eat? A good daily portion is about 7 to 9 walnut halves, enough to nourish your brain and heart without overdoing the calories. Before we move forward, one quick reminder: store your walnuts in the fridge to protect their delicate oils from turning rancid. And don't let their slightly bitter taste throw you off. That natural bitterness actually signals the presence of potent antioxidants, those very compounds that help protect your body. Now, let's talk pistachios, the colorful little nuts that pack a big punch, especially for blood pressure control. While they may not get as much attention as almonds or walnuts, pistachios might just be the most underrated nut when it comes to supporting senior health. Why? For starters, pistachios are naturally low in sodium and offer around 285 milligrams of potassium per serving, a key mineral that helps balance out salt levels in the body. For older adults, this balance becomes increasingly important. As the kidneys age, their ability to manage sodium efficiently declines, making high potassium intake all the more vital. Amazingly, regular pistachio consumption has been shown to lower systolic blood pressure by 3 to 5 points, rivaling the effect of some prescription medications without the unpleasant side effects. But the benefits don't stop there. Pistachios also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, two powerful carotenoids that concentrate in the macula of the eye. These compounds act like internal sunglasses, helping to protect your vision from age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in adults over 60. Another reason pistachios are ideal for seniors: their texture. Unlike harder nuts that may damage sensitive teeth or gums, pistachios deliver a satisfying crunch that's gentle on the mouth. Their distinct green and purple hues aren't just pretty to look at, they signal a rich antioxidant content that helps fight free radicals and slow the aging process from the inside out. And here's a fun bonus: shelling pistachios slows you down. This natural eating rhythm not only prevents overeating but also turns snacking into a more mindful experience. According to the International Journal of Obesity, seniors who leave the empty shells visible while snacking are better able to regulate how much they eat. If you struggle with hand strength or arthritis, look for half-open pistachios, which are easier to crack without straining your fingers, the sweet spot. Aim to eat about 49 pistachios a day, or roughly 1 ounce unsalted or lightly salted, for a healthy, fiber-rich snack that offers around 3 grams of fiber per serving. Now, let's shift focus to a powerful nut that ranks number 1 on our list for a very specific reason: it supports a part of your body that's often overlooked in the aging process, the thyroid. Say hello to Brazil nuts, a small nut with mighty benefits. In fact, we've awarded Brazil nuts first place because of their unmatched support for thyroid health, something that becomes increasingly important but frequently ignored as we get older. Why is this so critical? Studies show that up to 20% of people over the age of 65 have some form of thyroid dysfunction. Yet many of these cases go undiagnosed since symptoms like fatigue, weight gain, or mood swings are often mistaken as just aging. That's where Brazil nuts come in. These remarkable nuts are the single best food source of selenium, a vital trace mineral your thyroid depends on. Just one Brazil nut contains about 96 micrograms of selenium, which is around 137% of your daily requirement. That's a massive dose of support packed into just a single nut. Selenium plays a key role in activating thyroid hormones, which in turn regulate metabolism, energy production, and even mood stability. But that's not all. Brazil nuts also contain specific fatty acids that help preserve myelin, the protective sheath around your nerves. This coating tends to break down as we age, leading to slower reflexes, weaker reaction times, and reduced cognitive speed. By supporting myelin health, Brazil nuts may help seniors stay mentally and physically sharp. Here's another reason to favor Brazil nuts over supplements. The selenium found in these nuts is naturally bound in an organic form, making it easier for your body to absorb compared to synthetic tablets. And the best part: Brazil nuts are not only nutritious, they're also delicious. Their creamy, buttery texture makes them a satisfying treat, even in small amounts. In fact, because they're so rich in selenium, most experts recommend eating no more than 1 or 2 Brazil nuts per day. That's all it takes to enjoy their full benefits. Any more could lead to excessive selenium intake, which may cause harm. When shopping, look for Brazil nuts still in their shells. This natural packaging helps preserve their nutrients for longer. And due to their high fat content, it's a good idea to store them in the refrigerator to prevent spoilage. But there's even more. Brazil nuts also support digestive health. Thanks to their natural oils and fiber, they can gently relieve constipation, something many seniors silently deal with. Plus, their sweet, buttery flavor makes them a comforting alternative to sugary snacks or processed treats. Number 4 on our list of nuts to avoid or at least consume with caution is peanuts. Surprised? You're not alone. Peanuts are everywhere, from snack mixes to sandwich spreads, and they're often thought of as healthy, but the truth is a bit more complicated, especially for older adults. First things first, peanuts aren't technically nuts. They're legumes grown underground, which unfortunately makes them more susceptible to mold growth. This environment creates the perfect breeding ground for aflatoxins, a type of naturally occurring mycotoxin. If consumed regularly over time, aflatoxins can damage the liver and significantly increase the risk of cancer, a risk that becomes even more concerning as our detoxification systems weaken with age. But the trouble doesn't stop there. Even without a true peanut allergy, some people may still have inflammatory responses to the proteins in peanuts. For seniors who are already more prone to joint pain, cardiovascular strain, and cognitive decline, this subtle inflammation can quietly worsen all three. Now consider this: while omega-3 fatty acids help reduce inflammation, peanuts are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids, which can do the opposite, trigger inflammation when consumed in excess. And sadly, many Americans already consume far too many omega-6 in their diets, making peanuts an even riskier choice. There's another layer of concern that many aren't aware of. Peanuts contain vitamin K, which can dangerously interfere with blood thinners like warfarin, a medication commonly prescribed to seniors with heart issues. This interaction is often overlooked, even by healthcare professionals. And what about peanut butter? Unfortunately, most commercial peanut butters add hydrogenated oils, excess sodium, and sugars, a dangerous combination for aging hearts and those battling high blood pressure. Given that 63% of American seniors already struggle with hypertension, That extra sodium is the last thing they need. Storage is another concern. Peanuts that aren't stored properly can turn rancid, releasing free radicals that damage cells. Even more worrisome, during commercial roasting, peanuts can produce a compound called acrylamide, which may have harmful effects on brain health. With all this in mind, it may be time to rethink how often peanuts and peanut-based products show up in your daily diet. Number 3 on our list of nuts to be cautious with is cashews. They're creamy, rich, and often associated with healthy eating. But here's the reality: cashews can pose a hidden threat, particularly for people over 65. Why? It all begins with blood sugar. Unlike most true tree nuts, cashews are surprisingly high in carbohydrates, containing around 9 grams of carbs per ounce, and that's with less fiber to help offset the sugar spike. This combination can lead to sudden and unnoticeable surges in blood glucose levels, which is especially dangerous for seniors. Consider this: 25% of adults over 65 have diabetes, and another 48% are pre-diabetic. For this large portion of the population, even a handful of cashews can trigger a response that worsens blood sugar control over time. And because cashews have such a positive reputation, many seniors overeat them without realizing the potential consequences. Beyond the blood sugar concern, there's also the physical risk to consider. Due to their smooth, curved shape, cashews can become a choking hazard, particularly for elderly individuals who struggle with swallowing difficulties. Shockingly, cashews are one of the most frequently aspirated nuts in seniors, meaning they're more likely to be accidentally inhaled into the airway, but it doesn't end there. Cashews are also rich in oxalates, compounds that bind to calcium in the gut and reduce its absorption. For seniors who are already at increased risk for osteoporosis, this is a significant concern. These same oxalates can also promote kidney stone formation, especially for people over 60 who are already prone to urinary issues. And what about the way cashews are processed? Well, it's not exactly gentle. Raw cashews contain urushiol, a toxic substance also found in poison ivy. To make them safe to eat, cashews must undergo a long and intense heating process, which unfortunately strips away much of their original nutritional value. Worse yet, many store-bought cashews are oil-roasted and heavily salted, adding unhealthy fats and excess sodium that can worsen heartburn, high blood pressure, and other common age-related issues. Finally, cashews contain enzyme inhibitors, natural compounds that can make it harder to digest protein, posing another challenge for older adults who often already have weakened digestion. So, even if you've been munching on cashews without noticing any immediate symptoms, it might be time to rethink their place in your routine. And number 2, macadamia nuts. Yes, those rich, buttery bites that seem almost luxurious, especially in cookies or gourmet snack packs, might be doing more harm than good for aging bodies, while their creamy flavor makes them undeniably tempting. Macadamias are one of the most calorie-dense nuts out there. Just 1 ounce contains nearly 200 calories, making them the highest in calorie density among all nuts. For seniors, maintaining a healthy weight can already feel like an uphill battle, thanks to a slowing metabolism and reduced activity levels. Adding macadamias into the mix only makes that hill steeper, but the story doesn't end at calories. Macadamia nuts are extremely high in fat, packing in about 22 grams per ounce. That might not sound alarming at first. After all, nuts are supposed to be fatty, right? But here's the catch: this high-fat content can place added stress on the gallbladder, which already tends to function less efficiently as we age. Around 15% of older adults have asymptomatic gallstones, meaning they show no signs until something like macadamia nuts triggers a painful episode. Even worse, macadamias are also loaded with saturated fats, about 3 grams per ounce. This type of Fat can raise LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, which increases the risk of heart disease, a leading concern for the elderly. And if you think the danger ends there, think again. Macadamia nuts are extremely dense and hard. For seniors with fragile teeth, crowns, or dental bridges, biting into these nuts can result in cracked dental work or even broken teeth. Add to that the natural decline in calcium absorption and tooth enamel strength over age 65, and you've got a snack that's not only hard on the heart but also on your smile. There's also a practical concern: price. Macadamia nuts are among the most expensive nuts on the market. This may drive seniors on fixed incomes to buy cheaper varieties, which are more likely to be stale, rancid, or improperly stored, putting them at risk of consuming oxidized fats that damage cells and promote inflammation. To make matters worse, commercial macadamia products are often oil-roasted and heavily salted, stripping away what little nutritional value they might have had while adding sodium and unhealthy oils that contribute to high blood pressure and digestive discomfort. Their rich flavor might make them hard to resist, especially for seniors who have dull taste buds and may crave stronger, saltier foods. But when it comes to daily snacks, macadamia nuts are far from ideal, especially for those trying to stay lean, keep their hearts strong, and their digestion smooth. Coming in at number 1, pine nuts. Yes, those tiny seeds often sprinkled on gourmet salads or blended into creamy pesto sauces can pose unexpected risks that are especially serious for people over the age of 65. Pine nuts are known as medication disruptors, and for good reason. They contain compounds that can interfere with the effectiveness of a wide range of prescription drugs. In fact, studies suggest these interactions could affect over 60% of the medications most commonly prescribed to seniors. That includes drugs for high blood pressure, cholesterol-lowering statins, and even certain antidepressants, many of which are part of daily treatment plans for older individuals. What's truly alarming, most doctors and pharmacists rarely warn their patients about how specific foods like pine nuts can interact with medications. This oversight leaves many elderly individuals vulnerable to reduced drug efficacy or unexpected side effects, all while they believe they're eating something healthy. But it doesn't stop there. There's a peculiar condition known as pine nut syndrome or pine mouth, and while it may sound trivial, its consequences are anything but. After eating pine nuts, some people report a strong, metallic, bitter taste that can last for several days to even weeks. Imagine every bite of food tasting like metal for an entire month. For seniors, whose taste buds are already changing with age, this distortion can be devastating. Why? Because altered taste often leads to reduced appetite, which in turn results in unintentional weight loss. And among older adults, unplanned weight loss can spiral into malnutrition, weakened immunity, and even frailty. Alarmingly, research shows that up to 40% of those affected by pine nut syndrome experience a significant drop in body weight. Adding to the concern, pine nuts are rich in polyunsaturated fats, the kind that oxidize easily when exposed to air or heat. Once oxidized, they can form inflammatory compounds, which may worsen existing inflammatory conditions like arthritis. Already common in aging populations, their small, smooth shape might seem innocent, but it can also be a choking hazard for seniors with swallowing difficulties or those taking medications that dry out the mouth. The risk of aspiration food entering the airway instead of the stomach is real and potentially dangerous. So, while pine nuts may look harmless in that bowl of salad or homemade pesto, for older adults they could be a hidden trigger for health complications ranging from inflammation to medication failure. Did you know that more than 70% of seniors take multiple prescription medications? For them, pine nuts could be more problematic than they seem. These nuts contain enzyme inhibitors that may interfere with protein digestion, an issue already complicated by age, as the body naturally becomes less efficient at absorbing protein. And that's not all. Thanks to their high oil content and popularity in dishes like pesto, pine nuts are also extremely calorie-dense. This can worsen common post-65 challenges like unwanted weight gain or difficulty maintaining a healthy weight, but perhaps most concerning is a recent wave of research suggesting that compounds found in certain pine nuts might actually speed up age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in the elderly. That's a risk no one wants to take lightly. In short, choosing the right nuts and avoiding the wrong ones can make a real difference in your energy, brain health, and overall well-being as you age. Even small changes, when applied consistently, can lead to major improvements over time. So now it's your turn. Have you ever experienced a change in your health after adding or removing a specific nut from your diet? Which nut has made the biggest difference for you? Before we go on, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from today. Don't hesitate to drop your questions or thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our best health tips for seniors. If this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Let's hear your story. We're in this together.